Hun ka ash kan ho wak wuk washhak boholon and lapun. That is how you say the numbers from 1 to 10 in the language of the Maya. Tune, his wife Chanel, and brother Zook, and 3 children, Kanal, his sister Ekal, his cousin Pick, stood looking up at the most amazing building any of them had ever seen. It was 9 stories high, each story smaller than the one below it. Wide stone steps ran up 2 of the 4 sides, reaching to the top level on which there stood a small building. It was made of stone, like the 9-stepped pyramid on which it stood. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 stories high. 9 stories high, plus the temple on top, Tune said. This is the tomb of the great King Bakkall. King Bakkall lies buried in the great stone case at the very bottom of a hole that runs straight down to the center of the temple. There is a staircase in the temple at the top of the pyramid that leads down to the tomb. Can we see it ourselves, Father? Ekal asked. No, it is a special place. Only King Bakkall's son, our great King Khan Balam, is allowed inside that temple. The children looked up with even greater interest, knowing that this was a place so special that only a king might enter it. Tune glanced around to see that no one else was listening, then added in a mysterious tone, "They say there is a treasure buried with King Bakkall." The 3 children turned to look at him with wide eyes, unsure if he was teasing or serious. He went on. Some say there's a green jade carved to make all sorts of fabulous jewelry, bowls, tools, perhaps even furniture. No one knows exactly. Chenille added, except for our king. It was he who put it there, if that tale is true. Pick looked at his father Zook. Do you think it's true, Father? Is there really a treasure? Zook was still staring at the temple. He answered thoughtfully, I saw King Bakkall long ago. He was dressed in robes woven in the finest cotton in many colors, and he wore a headdress of magnificent feathers from the rarest birds. Headdress. He wore a magnificent jade necklace and carried a scepter carved into wonderful shapes. He did not walk on the earth as we do, but was carried through the streets in a great chair that sat atop 2 long poles laid flat. Important noblemen, for whom carrying the king through the streets was a great honor, carried the king anywhere he wanted to go. He turned to look at his son. I think that if King Bakkall wanted to be buried with treasure of jade, then yes, there must be jade. The children looked at one another in wonder, then back at the pyramid. But Tune and Chenille looked at one another, silently sharing a different thought. They were both thinking, I have not heard Zook speak so many words at once in years. Finally, Tune said to the others, let us go see what is on the other side of King Bakkall's pyramid. I heard the man in the market this morning that King Chan Bahum is building more great buildings over there, so they hurried off to see what other sights there might be. Sure enough, Bakkall's son had ordered a whole series of buildings to be built. These new buildings were wonderful in their own way, for the roof lines of the temples on top were carved in wonderful designs. When they tired from walking around, they all went to sit in the shade of some wide-spreading trees. After a while, Kanal asked, Father, why did King Bakkall make such a wonderful place to be buried in? It is much greater than the places you showed us this morning where the other kings and queens are buried. Tune answered quietly, I will tell you, but you must not repeat it. The 3 children grew quiet, sensing that he was about to trust them with some special grown-up sort of secret. Then Tune began to tell them about King Bakkall. Alright, we're going to find out the rest of what happens in the next story. See you in a bit, Kens.